Hello everybody, it's Foxy speaking, and welcome to another episode of Foxy's Fun Inspirational Chats. And today I will be your host. And in this episode, this is an episode about a very young man. A young man who loved bus rallies. He loved nothing more than not just bus rallies, but he loved vintage rallies, where they had these vintage fairground organs, classic car running events, and he also liked railway events. He loved all transportation events, any event that could involve transportation featuring at the event. This young man's name was Gideon. Gideon loved nothing more than transport and heritage transport events, as did his best friend William. William was much older than Gideon, but despite their age gap, both of them were extremely close. Both of whom were extremely close best friends despite their age gap. It was generally William who would let Gideon know of when there was going to be a special event. And if he was around to come, that was fine, but never mind if he could not make it. Yes. But one day, at the end of 1 week, Gideon, who was reading his little book at his home, ended up hearing a buzzing from his telephone. He got his telephone out of his pocket, and the person who was ringing him was his best friend William. So Gideon answered the telephone. "Oh, hello, this is Gideon speaking," Gideon said. "Gideon, hi," William said. "It's William. I wanted to let you know that there's going to be an event in Scarborough. It's going to be the Scarborough Classic Car Run." "Hi, William," Gideon said. "Scarborough Classic Car Run? Oh, how brilliant. I will meet you at the Scarborough Classic Car Run. I've just got to get my train from Nottingham, but you'll meet me at Nottingham Station, won't you?" Gideon asked William whilst speaking to him on the telephone. "Oh, yes, of course," William said. "Since we don't live in Scarborough in Yorkshire, we both live in Nottingham, although in different zones of Nottingham, that is," William responded. "Okay, brilliant," Gideon said. "I will see you tomorrow, and hopefully the event will go extremely well. See you later, William. Bye-bye." "Goodbye, Gideon," William said. Both William and Gideon ended their telephone calls. Both of them, since they do not live together, they both individually did their evening routine, and when it was time for them to go to bed, they both peacefully went to bed. It was morning. Gideon got out of bed after waking up from his alarm clock, hopped into his shower, got himself washed up, then he got himself dressed, had his breakfast, had a nice mug of milk, and after his breakfast and mug of milk, he got dressed, put on his hat and coat, and went out of the house and walked towards the tram stop to get the tram to Nottingham Station. Once boarding the tram, he bought his ticket from the tram conductor, got out at Nottingham Railway Station, and after getting out of Nottingham Railway Station, he went inside the station building, bought his ticket from the ticket office, and after purchasing his ticket from the ticket office, he went onto the platform to wait for his friend William. But William was nowhere to be found. "That's unusual," Gideon said. "William would usually meet me at the station by now." But then a little old man came walking up the stairs. Gideon recognized the little old man instantly. Ah! The little old man began waving towards Gideon. Gideon began waving back at him. "William," Gideon said towards the old man. The little old man, as it turns out, was William. "Hello, matey. Hello, Gideon." And William said, beaming towards his best friend, and they both gave each other a strong handshake as they were greeting each other. "How are you?" he said. "I'm fine, William. How are you?" Yeah, not too bad. I'm very well, thank you," William said. "Just gotta wait," he said. I didn't know about this event until you spoke to me about it." Yeah, William said, responding to Gideon. "I only just found out about it a few days ago, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You, Gideon?" "I'm definitely looking forward to it," William, Gideon said in response. Soon Gideon and William's train arrived. Gideon and William boarded the train along with several other passengers. The train took them to Scarborough, which was their location. They got out at Scarborough railway station and walked towards Scarborough seafront to get to see where the ending point of where the classic cars were going to arrive. They stood beside several other enthusiasts participating and partaking in the event. Before long, the old heritage vintage classic cars arrived at Scarborough seafront. Gideon and William got their cameras out and took some photographs of the classic cars. Once all the classic cars had arrived on Scarborough seafront, Gideon and William began observing all the heritage classic cars, as well as going far as taking photographs of them, and as well as sitting in the car seat for some, but provided they asked the owner of the vintage or heritage cars permission before sitting in the driver's seat first. But luckily, there were some classic car owners who were more than okay with either Gideon or William sitting in their driver's seat of their classic vintage heritage car. As the event progressed, Gideon and William stopped to have a little lunch break. After their lunch break, they watched the remainder of the event, and then before long all the classic cars left Scarborough seafront. As all the cars left Scarborough seafront, Gideon and William decided to eat out at a restaurant for their supper. They ate out at an Italian restaurant, both of whom happily had a nice Italian meal and drank a lot of Italian red wine, as well as having a big Italian starter, a large Italian meal, and a reasonably big Italian dessert, along with at least 2 or 3 glasses of red wine, or possibly a bottle of red wine shared in between the two of them. After their Italian meal at the Italian restaurant, Gideon was the one who paid the bill for the meal, despite being younger than William. After the bill was paid, Gideon and William left the Italian restaurant and walked towards Scarborough station. "Oh, wasn't that a fun event, William?" Gideon said happily to his best friend, looking at him, smiling. "Oh yes, Gideon," William said, responding, looking and smiling towards his best friend, Gideon. This event was certainly new to me. I've been to classic car events before, as you know, but I didn't think there was going to be a classic car run in Scarborough. Very, very good. And seeing that it's not terribly long on the train to get to Scarborough from Nottingham, Gideon said, as the two continued having their talks, their chat and talking conversations. Their Nottingham train arrived at Scarborough. They boarded the Nottingham train at Scarborough railway station, and then before long their train arrived at Scarborough railway station. Gideon and William got out at Nottingham railway station. They both exchanged their goodbyes and handshaking as they exchanged their goodbyes. Nice. And then William walked his way back home. Gideon hopped on the tram from outside that stopped outside of Nottingham railway station in order to get to his home residence, since the tram link went fairly near to his home residence. He got out of his local tram stop, walked back to his home residence, and he said hello to his cat. He said hello to his cat, Graham and Emery. He fed them their dinner, and after the cats had had their dinner, they watched some Star Wars together. After they'd finished watching their Star Wars, Gideon got ready for bed and went peacefully to sleep, happily dreaming of the wonderful memories he had of the Scarborough Classic car run. The Scarborough Classic car run Gideon himself had attended with his best friend William. The end. Well, this is certainly quite a story, I know. But I wanted to base this story on my friendship and relationship with my best friend David. I wanted to compare Gideon, the fictional characters, Gideon and William's best friendship relationship in a similar way to mine and David's friendship relationship in that sense, really. That's why I thought this would be worth sharing as a story, this sort of relationship. So David, if you're watching, the Gideon and William relationship, I wanted to compare it to our friendship relationship. Very much so, but I hope it was not too much. Yes, and hopefully, and I just hope Kim will not be too unhappy with something like this or a story like that. Never mind. But thanks all indeed for watching, everybody, and thanks David and Kim. If you two were watching this, please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Thanks all indeed for watching, and thanks David and Kim if you two are watching this too. Please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below to all of you individually, and I shall certainly see you in the very next video. Ta-ta, another time. From Foxy, if I may say one more time. This video, this episode, fictional episode of these wonderful fictional characters who were newly introduced, is based on the friendship relationship in a reasonably comparable way to the friendship relationship myself and David have. Indeed so. Thanks all for watching, and ta-ta another time. From Foxy.